for the Pig and the Hen.
Pig and the Hen Show. Pig and the Hen Show.
It's time now for the Pig and the Hen Show.
Pig and the Hen Show. Pig and the Hen Show.
It's time now for the Pig and the Hen.
Pig and the Hen Show. Pig and the Hen Show.
It's time now for the Pig and the Hen Show.
Pig and the Hen Show. Pig and the Hen Show.
Boom, chickadee chanka, how's it going, everybody? It's the Flying Pig here, joined by Henry Hotspur for a little cheeky bonus. I guess well, not really a bonus, is it? But a cheeky little short Pig and the Hen Show for you lads and lasses out there. It's definitely not a bonus. But it's basically in response to the breaking news that's happened today. The announcement by the EFL to postpone all fixtures in the Premier League until the 4th of April. And that's at the earliest, so they'll obviously monitor the situation and see what happens based on that. I'll read out this statement. It says the Football Association has also postponed England's international friendly matches against Italy and Denmark, scheduled for March 27th and 31st respectively. The FA Women's Super League and FA Women's Championship fixtures have also been postponed. The measure to postpone Premier League football was agreed at an emergency club meeting on Friday in the light of Arsenal boss Mikel Arteta and Chelsea midfielder Callum Hudson-Odoi confirming they had tested positive for the virus. The news was confirmed in a collective statement. The FA, Premier League, EFL and Barclays FA Women's Super League and FA Women's Championship have collectively agreed to postpone the professional game until the 3rd of April at the earliest. This action will be kept under constant review, has been taken due to the increasing numbers of clubs taking steps to isolate their players and staff because of the COVID-19 virus. The postponements include all matches in the Championship, League One and League Two, as well as academy and youth team fixtures. In addition, clubs are being advised to suspend indefinitely all non-essential activities, which include, but are not limited to, player appearances, training ground visits and fan meetings. Whilst the EFL board has continued to take the advice and guidance offered by the government and its health advisors, emerging developments mean now it is the time to implement football's contingency plans in response to the crisis. A further update on these plans will be given post an EFL board meeting next week. This decision has not been taken lightly, but the EFL must prioritise the health and well-being of players, staff and supporters while also acknowledging the government's national efforts in tackling this outbreak. So that's the statement officially from the EFL. The government didn't seem to be doing piss all about it, did they? They're just quite happy to just let people publicly gather still. I believe Cheltenham Festival is currently going on right now. Do you know what I mean? People are going to be getting all sorts of coronavirus at that event, I'm sure. So I think it's completely the right move for the Premier League to make this decision. Of course, as football fans, we're not happy about it. But, when it comes to stopping the spread of the disease, or at least slowing the spread of the disease, then it's just a necessary measure, don't you think, Hen? And Hen, how are you doing, mate?
Yeah, I'm okay. I'm okay, as okay as anyone can be. The vast majority of people listening to this show right now, I hope you're safe. I'm sure you are. The majority of the world, let's be honest, statistically, right now are safe. What it is the ever-growing fear that this outbreak is, making. Things are changing day by day right now. We've spoken about this on the show that the Prem was going to get cancelled, European football cancelled. We were just waiting for it to happen. Well done, Pig, for just being able to introduce the show in your normal jovial way, and almost trying to say bonus little show here, but this is far from it. This is far from your normal bonus Pig in the Hen show, because we're treading in waters that we've never treaded in before. We don't know what we're doing. You guys at home don't know what's happening, and we're basically just here to talk about it, because what the fuck is going on?
Slightly ropey connection with you, by the way, Hen, but I heard most of that. Yes, mate. It is a bit of a bad situation, obviously. There's lots of people dying, over 1,000 in Italy now. It's definitely the right move, I think, to suspend Premier League football for now. Obviously, there's lots of implications to this, like, do they continue the Premier League at a later date? Do they continue all these sporting events at a later date? There's some talk about the potential, if it's obviously a better situation at the time, to finish off the Premier League campaign in the summertime and then play Euro 2020 next summer, which seems like something that might be feasible. But other ideas at the moment being bandied around are, we finish the season as is, with all the Premier League teams in the current positions on the current points, and we just call it a day and that's that, and Liverpool win the league and all the teams are relegated, which in my opinion is completely ridiculous. You can't do that because all the relegated teams, all the teams have missed out on the Champions League places. It's just unfair. You could have the easiest fixtures coming up for your last game, so that's out the question. And then the other option, Henry, is just chalk it off, start all over, reset next time. Which if we're going to have to stop this season because of the coronavirus, I think that's the best course of action. Do you know what I mean? Just write it off. Sorry, Liverpool. I'm very sorry, Liverpool, and everything. Like, you've done a great job. If you're that good, though, you just do it again next year, won't you?
I mean, at the moment, it's as simple as this. I mean, obviously, you cannot play games behind closed doors because we've had infections within the game already. Obviously, I don't need to tell you guys, you're avid football fans, anyone listening to the show right now, we all know, unfortunately, Arsenal manager Mikel Arteta has tested positive. Hudson-Odoi of Chelsea has tested positive, young 19-year-old lad. Plus, we've got Leicester players, we've got Arsenal players under quarantine. You cannot play games behind closed doors because teams, managers, owners, we were just talking about Nottingham Forest or Olympiacos owner the other day who's tested positive. So it's affecting the game on multiple levels. And you cannot continue to play the games. All this talk of, like, let's just call it a day now and crown Liverpool the champions. All this talk of let's just reset. I mean, I'm finding it hard to joke about this stuff at the moment because, it's a horrible situation we're in. All that needs to happen, all that needs to happen is we remember the points as they are right now, and we carry on playing football when we can. Whenever that is, even if we need, for the first time ever, if we need to miss a season, because who knows how long this is going to go on for, how bad it's going to be. We could be looking at missing a season of the Premier League, essentially. So, once things rectify themselves, which I hope is going to happen sooner rather than later, you could see us continuing this league as it was. Liverpool get their trophy, everything celebrated like it would normally be because the crisis is over. But by that time, we might be looking at later on this year, early next year, and we might just be missing out on a season, maybe half a season, something like that. It's very hard to say right now.
Yes, they'll have to look at what happens over the coming weeks. That's the thing. Obviously, they're suspended until the 3rd of April at the earliest. So at that moment in time, if it's a lot worse, which it probably will be because the UK government don't seem to be doing too much about it at the moment, then they probably won't be able to continue it at that stage either, and they won't be able to have public gatherings, or they have to play in behind closed doors. But you're right, once Mikel Arteta's got it, once the manager of Arsenal has got it, it's like you can't continue the Premier League season at all. So they made the correct decision. So obviously all these people that have been affected, whether it's, just civilians or Hudson-Odoi and Mikel Arteta and Tom Hanks and his missus and all these people, we hope they obviously have a speedy recovery, but the sad fact is there will be plenty of people that are around the world that are vulnerable, that do have underlying conditions, who will be affected in the most devastating ways by this, and obviously people around them. So they've made the right call, and we'll talk certainly more about the football. But just quickly, I just want to talk about, and a lot of people, I don't like to get into politics too much on this show, and a lot of people will disagree with me, and some will agree with me, whatever. It's just my thoughts, and I don't generally like to talk about it. But I've never been so bloody triggered watching a Prime Minister speak as I was that floppy-haired little twat yesterday, Boris Johnson, addressing the nation, saying, we're just basically it is what it is. Everybody's going to get it. Most people are going to get it. We'll try and slow it down as best we can. But fact of the matter is, we're not going to stop public gatherings at the moment. We're just going to let nature take its course, basically, and let selection take place. Let the weak die, whatever. They don't give a shit. They're just going to benefit from not having to pay out on these bloody pensions and healthcare on the NHS for the elderly anyway. So the Tories, they're looking at the bloody bottom line at the end of the day, when what they could actually be doing is closing schools, closing borders, closing workplaces just for a couple of weeks, lads and lasses, paying people statutory sick pay or whatever if you need. But that's the situation we're in. Stop it right now. And people say, oh, well, that's no good. You're just delaying it into another time, a later date when it's going to happen anyway. And yes, it will happen happen anyway, but it buys you a little bit of time. Maybe they'll come up with some sort of cure, some sort of vaccine 6 months down the line, I don't know. And that extra couple of weeks of people self-containing and being forced not to go out and having a complete, effectively a lockdown might just save hundreds, thousands of elderly people's lives. So I just think that the government here have had an absolute shit show, and it's down on the Premier League here to actually make the final decision to do with the football. Like in reality, they would have just kept it going, the UK government, I think. And if you look at the sporting events that have been cancelled around the world, America obviously, even they've been cancelling things. And at the start, they seemed a little bit nonchalant about the whole situation, just like the UK has. But even they're stepping up things. But our UK government doesn't really seem to be doing piss all about it. Never wanted to slap a prime minister as much as I do that floppy-haired twat Boris Johnson right now, mate. And I grew up with bloody Tony Blair.
Well, there we go. I mean, just to let you guys and girls out there know, obviously me and the pig have spoken in private about the whole situation. Of course we have, because we're friends. And I cannot disagree with anything that the pig has said right there. I have had conversations with other friends out here in China. I've got a friend that I've been speaking to today that might even be listening to the show right now. And I was basically voicing my opinion in the same way that you just have, and saying, why is this not happening? Why is that not happening? And to be honest, a friend out here, he's kind of explained to me that the trouble is the UK have just left it too late. Europe has left it too late. I genuinely believe the UK is in the position right now, as is much of Europe, where it's very difficult to get on top of this now, regardless of what you do. This is the overwhelmingly biggest problem that's happened. But the thing is, it's hindsight. It's hindsight now. The UK government, they've come out, they've said 5,000 to 10,000 people that they believe are probably already infected, right? The official figure right now is 590 something. I think it's gone up a little bit. It's probably 600 and something now. But if it's actually 5,000 to 10,000 spread, relatively evenly across the country, it is too late to stop the infection arriving from other countries, because you're having community spread now. It is spreading within the UK. Okay, so let's stop schools. Let's stop people going to work. Let's do everything we can. Stop festivals. It all makes sense. I'm not even saying that let's not do that. I think, to be honest, they still should do all of that. I mean, if it was up to me, and if we could, it's like, do you know what? Why doesn't everybody just stay in for a month and a half, up to 2 months if necessary? If there's enough food reserves, the army gets involved, the police get involved. I don't know if we've got the manpower, distributes all this stuff door to door, in terms of supplies, essential supplies, keeps everyone alive, everybody's rationed, and we try to just allow this virus to pass naturally. People will be ill within their own homes. Most of them recover. Unfortunately, a few people might die, but we could come out of this after a month and a half, 2 months, and obviously the borders would have been closed up, and then essentially the UK could be virus free, right? And the ideology behind that, yes, that could potentially work, but having spoke to one of my friends out here, he doesn't think the food would go around. He doesn't think that there's enough manpower to be able to enforce that kind of action. He believes the spread is too far reached now across the UK that there is nothing you can do. Essentially, the Tories have fucked it because they've acted too late, and now all they can do is mitigate. That's what we're looking at.
Yeah, I'm absolutely blown away by the lack of movement by the Tory government a little while ago, mate. In all honesty, I find it despicable. You've got countries like Ireland with like 40 cases, closing down schools and trying to contain it. At this stage, Denmark, barely any cases, doing the same thing. It's like, why did we wait so long? Why
Denmark
did we just
have got more
open
cases
borders?
than us, Pig.
They have.
I looked into this today. Denmark have got a lot of cases. A lot
Even
of
so,
cases,
though, it's
but
like
there
we've
are-
got a lot
are
of
other
cases. We've got
countries
like
that don't,
600 or
yeah.
700 confirmed cases, and now they're not even going to be testing people to the same degree, as far as I understand, because Boris is just like, yeah, fuck, you know, it's going to happen. So why spend our resources on testing people when everybody's going to get it anyway? I just think it's just the wrong priority. They should be thinking about the people here. They should actually be thinking about the lives of the people rather than the net, rather than the the amount of money that's in their coffers or whatever it is. Because yes, like you said, Henry, we don't know if we've got the resources in order to do that and in order to provide everybody with food and all that kind of thing and healthcare at this moment in time. We probably don't. But the fact is, we can make a bloody good go of it if the government were prepared to spend now for preventative
Absolutely.
care rather than have to deal with it later on. And what you were saying about that, Henry, like that whole containment thing, people might think that's silly, passed naturally. But if you think about it, if you think about what you said, like, if everybody did contain, so the advice from the NHS England at the moment is to simply, if you've got coronavirus symptoms, it's not to go out, it's not to mix with anybody, it's to stay in your house for 7 days, and that you're either going to suffer serious complications and have to get involved with the emergency services, in which case you're probably not onto a winner there, unfortunately, or you recover fine, and then you can actually go back out into society and you're no longer contagious after a period. So if everybody did that, if we close the borders, if there's nobody else is coming in, theoretically, if everybody with the virus was contained to the point where unfortunately they either pass on or they recover and they are no longer contagious, then at some point it's going to be safe, for these people to come and mix into society. They can no longer give it to somebody who doesn't have coronavirus. So that is actually how you contain it. I mean, you, Henry, are actually one of the best placed people to talk about this because you've been in Guangzhou, China. You left Guangzhou, China when it was at its peak. You're at, the second most affected area in China you were living in. So you obviously know your stuff on this, and you can see what's happened with China right now. Like, from what I understand it, they just went absolute whole hog on it. They've contained it as best they can. People are starting to go back to work and things now. And the cases that they're having, considering the population is in the billions, is a ridiculously low number. Whereas you look at the European countries right now that waited too long to deal with this, and that the cases are astronomically rising. So your situation over there, Henry, I'd love to hear more about it. What are China
crazy.
doing about this?
I know. That's it. I mean, just to quickly touch upon, what the UK are doing right now. I mean, everybody's got their own ideas. Everyone can speculate of what the best course of action is now that the floodgates have already been opened, so to speak. The serious issue is right now you can still fly straight into Heathrow from the UK, from anywhere in Europe, from anywhere in the world. Essentially, no questions asked. As long as you've got your correct documentation, the right visa, you go through your normal immigration. They don't even check your fucking temperature.
Is this true?
Right?
Is this actually 100% true as of right now?
Absolutely.
Because I cannot fathom
true.
that, mate. I can't even get my head around the possibility that we wouldn't be having a quarantine system for anybody wanting to come in right now, and just basically saying you can't come in unless you're prepared to have a full-on freaking quarantine period. Do you know what I mean? Like, that's how it should be. Why would they be letting people in?
As far as I'm aware, please let us know in the comment section if I'm wrong. I'm not trying to say that I'm 100% on this, but as far as I know, and I think I'm right, at the moment, pretty much from anywhere in the world, you can fly straight into the UK, or you can drive across the Eurotunnel, or get a ferry, and you're not even going to get a temperature check. At worst, they're handing out leaflets and giving you advice to self-quarantine if you believe that you're from an affected region. That's it. That is it.
So, yes, this...
Just to give you...
Go on.
Sorry, go on.
I was just going to say, it smacks of almost some sort of a depraved act that the government are doing here, mate. They know that people will die if they allow this to just happen. If they allow new people to come into the country and just allow the freedom of movement at this moment in time, they know that that's going to cause more infections to come into the country. They know that keeping schools open is going to cause more infections. Boris said, we may look at closing down mass gatherings and things like that at some point, but schools are going to remain open. Well, school is a fucking mass gathering every single day. There's like 1,000 people that go there. And, okay, these kids are not the most vulnerable towards this disease, but certainly people they take it home to, maybe. So I just find that right now, not just for a couple of weeks, not even a week off school, not even just close it for a week and see if that contains it, which it would to a degree. No, nothing. Open borders, open schools, workplaces. Go on as you like. People are going to contract it. He literally said the words, I'm going to level with you. Loved ones will be lost and things like that. It's like, come on, Boris, mate. You shouldn't be saying that. What you should be saying is this is a trying time for the UK. The people are the priority. Saving as many lives are a priority. Unfortunately, people will die. What we're going to do is we're going to try and contain it, buy ourselves some time. Maybe some bright spark will come up with some cure or vaccine. It's unlikely, but, down the line, and that will have saved us a bunch of life. That's what they should have done. So I just think that they've shat all over the bed on this one, mate. I do.
Absolutely. I mean, just to give you, a little bit of insight into my own experience. Obviously, I flew out from China. Looking back, it kind of almost feel a bit bad about it. It's like one of those things. It's like, ideally, nobody should move. When you've got a global situation. But as a family man, I didn't know what the situation was at the time. I've got my family. I don't know how bad it's going to get in China. I'm thinking, do you know what? I want to get my family the hell out of here right now, as any man would. I would have thought. Okay, so I fly to Thailand. Obviously, they're doing their temperature checks. It's pretty casual though. They're still doing temperature checks at least.
Yeah.
When you get there. Anyway, spend a few weeks in Thailand, have a brilliant time. Fly back. Getting back in was a hell of a lot more tricky than actually getting into Thailand. When we got back in, come off the plane. I think there was one person's name announced. That had to get off the plane first before anyone else. Everyone was kind of freaking out. I've even spoken to a few friends that actually flew back from Thailand just before I had, that had 20. One of my friends had 20 names called out as they arrived in Baiyun Airport in Guangzhou, that had to get off the plane beforehand. And obviously, what's going through your mind is these people are probably come from Italy or South Korea and transiting from Thailand through Thailand or whatever it is, which kind of makes sense. So anyway, we get off the plane and we're waiting for pretty much an hour, there's an extra hour of delay whilst you stand in a queue and you can see a big screen, a big massive widescreen TV that literally has your temperatures flashing up on the screen. So, I can see my face on it. I can see my kids and my missus. I can see other people standing in the queue. And, every few seconds or so, it's literally displaying your temperature on the screen so everybody can see. And thankfully for us, it's green, it's green, it's green. Everybody in the queue was green, as I could see. You get, but this is before you're getting through immigration. You're speaking to health checking staff, quarantine staff, whatever you call them, just confirming your travel history, making sure you haven't come from certain regions, certain countries, etc. So we get through that, go through immigration, get a taxi back to my place here in Guangzhou. We had a further half-hour, 45-minute delay just getting into my complex, which I didn't realize was going to happen. They wouldn't even let us into our residential area, right? Until we downloaded some kind of app on our phone so that the guards on the door could see, exactly where we'd been and that we weren't going to be, essentially, so that we could prove that we'd been cleared through our travel history, so that we could even get into our home.
Henry, tell us about the McDonald's,
that's
mate.
What happened.
Tell us about the McDonald's.
And I think this is escalating every day. Okay, so I ordered a McDonald's. My youngest son, he's a bit partial to fries. He loves his French fries. Okay, so we don't feed him French fries every day, but now and then he likes a few fries. Okay, so we order a McDonald's. When it gets to us, obviously it doesn't get delivered to the door. I have to go out to the front gate of my whole complex here and receive the package. Obviously everybody's masked up, gloves on, no messing around. Get back. I can't read Chinese, but my wife is looking at the labeling, and it's got 3 temperature readings on there. One is the person that's prepared the food. The second is the person that's packed the food. And the third is the person that's delivered the food, all displaying temperatures of less than 37 point something degrees, indicating that it's not guaranteeing that none of them have coronavirus, but at least it gives you a little bit of reassurance that they're not flagging with a high temperature right now. That's just a small insight into everything that China are doing. Every time I get into the elevator, obviously we got lifts here, we got elevators here, that I can barely breathe them there because the elevator has been sprayed to fuck with disinfectant. All of the elevator buttons have like a cellophane cover that's changed every day, it seems to me. And you can see it's been sprayed. I mean, there's just absolutely no messing around it. Every time I went to the park today, I told you I took my kids to the park, obviously masked up, being careful, but obviously got to get the kids out, walking out and around it. Just to let you know, guys, there's been no infections in Guangzhou for I think pretty much 2 weeks now. Plus the fact there's been no deaths in Guangzhou whatsoever. And I think there's about 17 people in hospital right now. That's it. Okay, so it's pretty safe where I am right now. Okay, but still, everyone's taking every precaution. Even when you enter the park, they're checking your temperature. Everyone that enters the park gets their temperature checked. So basically, everywhere you want to go, anything you want to do, you're getting your temperature checked continuously. And if someone's flagging a high temperature, then I don't know what happens. But I guess, obviously,
they're not allowed in,
you need to stay where you are. So medical people can come in and just test you and check that you're all right. Probably you just got an innocent little high temperature from the flu or whatever, or a fever. But that is how high maintenance it is right here.
I mean, that sounds absolutely fantastic to me. It sounds like, like you were talking about yesterday with me, Henry, like the fact that it was the first place that it occurred. Now they're certainly the best geared up to deal with this right now, and I find that amazing. I think it's ridiculous the lack of things that the UK government are doing for the containment of the spread of this disease. China, they've bossed it, man. If you think about the whole population of that country and all the populous cities that they have, the amount of cases that they've had recently is very, very small. The amount of deaths is tiny. I think they had, was it just a handful yesterday out of the whole, whereas Italy's at over 1,000 deaths now. It's really, really sad and shocking. But the fact is they're not geared up to deal with it, whereas China, they're bossing it out there. You don't see the UK having temperature checks for everyone right now to try and contain and avoid the spread. You don't see the UK sending authority round to people's properties who are coming into the country like you did coming back from Thailand, where they had to check your temperature and all this stuff. You don't see that. So I think that the Chinese government, fair play, they're dealing with this in an absolute boss way. And the UK government needs to 100% step it up, because it's only going to get worse with what they're saying. And it sounds like the UK government almost want it to get worse. They're almost like, oh, stiff upper lip, we're British, we'll keep going, we'll soldier on, keep calm and carry on, and everybody will get it, and those that die, and those that survive. Most people survive, so it won't be the end of the country. Fuck off, Sorry for my language, lads and lasses, but it's wound me right up. It really has wound me right up. Oh.
Well, there's no reason to apologise. I mean, it's crazy times we're living in. All I can say, I mean, let's turn it into let's all China's amazing, because I never want to be like that. End of the day, no country's perfect. China had massive advantages here in some respects. The fact that they had an epicenter, they had a massive city.
Well, they're the bloody ones responsible for it, Henry. Do you know what I mean? Like, we're praising them here, but really,
well, hang on a second.
They're bloody bat meat markets and stuff. That's the reason.
Well,
so nice one, China. Thanks for that, China.
For now. Let's save that for now. But you look at the population of Hubei, the population of Wuhan is I think it's still under 10 million, but it's it's several million people in that city. And I'm not saying for 1 second that place is not a fucking hellhole. And I've said it on previous shows. I think the situation there is diabolical. And if anything, that gave China a kick up the arse to realize how bad this shit is. They witnessed firsthand, the Chinese government witnessed firsthand how bad this shit could get if it spread across the rest of the country. And that's why they went fucking medieval on this shit, quarantined the whole area, stopped the spread in every single other region, and spent shitloads of money on essentially trying to put a stop to this as best they could. Another thing that played into China's hands was the fact that this just so happened to occur over the Chinese New Year, a period of time in China where they're already used to dealing with an economic slowdown to a certain extent, because most people are off work, most people are with their families in their hometowns. They extended the holiday because of the outbreak. And it was basically the perfect time in many ways to implement everything that they did.
Yes, mate, and I think I think we can learn a lot from how they're dealing with it with those instances like you said about, and you've been saying that people have been returning back to work. So we were talking about this whole, if there's a delay and people go back to work, then it's just going to delay it, and then the spread's going to continue. But what happens is people containing with the virus, they recover from that virus, then they're no longer contagious. So the numbers should hopefully go down. And like you say, Henry, and everybody in China is taking the correct precautions. You are seeing people masking up, suiting up, gloving up, and all that sort of stuff, and really taking it seriously. Whereas over here, I'll be honest with you, I mean, I've been out in public a bunch of times over the last few days, and I haven't seen one bastard wearing a mask or one bastard wearing a gloves or anything.
Really?
Not
even one
single person, mate. Not one person I've seen with a mask. Now, I haven't been on public transport. Maybe people on public transport, but I haven't seen one person with a mask in the UK at all out in public, in the supermarket, wherever. So maybe that's just me in my local area, but I haven't seen anybody with them. So I just don't think people are actually taking it as seriously as they should. I know there's other things in the world that are currently killing more people, but still, I mean, the way the UK government is talking about it, they're just going to let it spread like wildfire, and then they'll deal with it, which I find despicable.
I'll come back to the fact that Europe have just left it too late. Open borders is the issue. You know, they talk about a lockdown in Italy, okay? And, again, I have to commend my friend that I won't say his name right now, but I had a good chat with him earlier, who actually brought me up to speed on a lot of things. I mean, he's one of these guys that obviously reads the news and looks at things as much as I do, but obviously he knew stuff that I didn't know, because I kind of just believed that Italy was under lockdown. When I read that on the news, I think, well, obviously they're basically doing the same as China. You know, the Lombardy region has been locked down. And then next thing I hear is the whole of Italy's been locked down. I'm thinking, right, no one's allowed out of Italy, et cetera, et cetera. That is not the case at all. That is not the case at all. Right now, you can get a train from Lombardy, from the north of Italy, to anywhere else in Italy. You can drive your car to any other EU country straight from Italy, right? You can fly from Italy to any other country in the world that will have you, if they're still accepting Italian travel, which most places are. Right?
Are you sure?
This is what is so sick. Yeah, absolutely sure.
Seriously,
absolutely sure. This
blows my mind.
Absolutely.
That blows my absolute mind.
Absolutely. The EU said that they're going to keep borders open out of principle because this is what the EU stands for. Yeah, well done. Well done, EU. Yeah, look, we stand for this, so this is what we're going to do. Let's disregard anything else. Right? So if I was someone in Italy right now, just like I did in China when I was kind of thinking I'm going to get my family out of the situation right now and fly to Thailand. Just imagine if I was in Italy right now, or maybe Spain or somewhere else that's had a bit of an outbreak. I'm going to be looking at my stats. I'm going to be on Worldometer or whatever it is. Most people are probably looking at that day in, day out now, checking out the current figures, in Europe or worldwide, and thinking I could drive to anywhere in Europe right now. Do you know what? I'm going to go to that place that basically has no infections. And then what happens? This is exactly why this shit has spread from one side of Europe to the other. It's like the fucking Roman Empire again,
Yes.
It's like the fucking Roman Empire, but we're not talking fucking dickheads with swords and shields. We're talking a fucking biological, viral fucking weapon, essentially.
A viral turtle,
it's disgusting.
You know what I mean, with the old shields and all that. Anyway, thank you very much, Henry, for all your great information there. I mean, I'm loving what you're saying here. You're definitely the man with the knowledge. And I just want to say thank you to over 90 legends that are tuned into this show right now. Thank you so much for getting in here today for this random bonus coronavirus Premier League suspension show. We'll get a little bit more into the football and just talk about some of the ramifications in a moment. But please do us a favour if you're tuning in here. Please smash a cheeky little like on it. We're almost at 100 live viewers as well. So if you could go to Twitter and retweet my tweet about the show, or give this a share yourself on social media, that would be bloody awesome and probably tip us over the 100 live viewers. But shout out to you all for getting in here. Please do give it a thumbs up. I'm going to get in and just read a few of your comments out, and then we'll get back into discussing this a little bit more. But shout out to the Music Fiend.
I'd love to hear people's
JP,
comments, to be honest.
Absolutely,
we should.
Yeah. Music Fiend says EU is so dumb. I agree. I think, what really annoys me is because the UK has left the EU, but we still have this sort of grace period, or this transition period of a year. It's like we're just their bitch at the moment, aren't we? Surely at this stage now would be the time to say stop.
As far as I know,
close the borders.
As far as I know, as soon as 31st of January or whatever hit, whichever date it was, then we were in the position to do whatever the hell we wanted with our borders, as far as I know, regardless of transition period. I think transition period is more to do with just, general EU law.
Yeah.
But when it comes to our borders, I'm pretty sure, and so please correct me if I'm wrong, that we could have done what the hell we wanted. And obviously, if anything, if there was anything good to come out of Brexit in some ways, even though I was a big supporter of it personally, I mean, the first thing we should have done is shut up shop.
Yes, under this situation with a virus outbreak like this, absolutely, there's no reason to be dictated to by the EU or to keep the borders open. So if you're saying that, then Henry, then it's the UK that's had a complete melt job here, because we had the option to close the borders, and even if we don't, we are leaving the EU. So it's like, well, we'll just argue about it later then. We'll shut up, we won't let anybody in, and we'll argue about it later. We're leaving anyway. What are you going to do? What are you going to do? You know what I mean? So yeah, I fully agree with you, Henry. I think that we've made a big mistake here. Michael Collins, thank you so much for getting in here, mate. I think you're on your way out today, but either way, thanks so much for stopping in here and getting involved. Michael Collins, absolute bloody legend. Oh my God, re-rock hard. He says, what about these idiots who travel during the virus? Ego, selfish people. Yes, I mean, certainly if you've got any sort of symptoms or anything like that, and you're knowingly putting yourself out there in public or knowingly travelling right now, then you are in fact an absolute fool. But sometimes, like, for instance, Henry wanted to travel out of China in order to protect his family, to get them away from this. So you can understand that. But at the same time, let's say Henry did have it without knowing it at the time. He could have unwittingly transferred it onto plenty of people on that plane or traveling or anywhere. So I completely understand what you're saying. Like right now, if you think you've got it, if you haven't got it, you probably should stay put regardless.
Yeah, like I was saying, I mean, there is a part of me that kind of has an element of guilt. I'm kind of thinking, well, maybe I should have just stayed put. I am potentially putting other people at risk because I'm moving around.
I don't blame you, though, because at the time it was very, very bad in China. Oh, I don't blame you because it was bad in China at the time and not really anywhere else yet. Now it's the opposite, really. So I don't blame you at all, Hen, for that. But Matty Rush has sent in a super chat. Thank you so much, Matt Rush. He says, Henry, has anyone had the virus twice that you know of?
Not that I know of. No, not that I know of personally. To be honest, I don't know anyone, not even a friend of a friend, that has been infected. No one at all. Actually, sorry. Okay, a friend's missus's cousin in the Hubei region, I believe, was infected. Okay, that's literally the only one that I know of. Okay, in terms of reinfected, yes, there is strong evidence to indicate that does
really?
and will occur.
So you're not immune from it if your body's dealt with it and you've recovered from it.
Not necessarily.
You could technically get it back.
There's obviously a percentage chance that you can get this because this is just simple science here. If you catch the flu, right, and you suffer from it and you recover from it like most people do, are you immune from the flu? Of course you're not. You might be immune from that particular strain of flu, and you might be immune for a while.
Though,
no. There's already scientists are already working on this shit. They already believe there's been 2 strains of this already. Like a strain S and a strain L. I don't want to go too deep into it on the show, but you can look this up yourself. Okay. And the thing is, it looks like it's something that will be able to continuously mutate, like a lot of viruses do. That's the disgusting, horrible nature of what we're dealing with here. So you can't just think, right, once you've had it, you're immune, and then never again. Right. If this shit is a biological weapon, which I'll be honest with you, I think it is. Okay, I don't want to get into who's created it or for what reason it's been released or if it's been accidentally released right now. But it's a weapon and it's designed to fucking go through the mill. Then it certainly fucking will do. And this could be something that crops up again and again and again. Who knows what's going to happen right now? We're dealing with unprecedented situations worldwide.
Yeah, everybody just try and contain at the moment. Don't go out if you don't have to. Wash, all that good stuff. You don't need me to tell you now. But I'll tell you something. I've got a bit of a phlegmy chest at the moment, and I'm feeling a bit ropey, and I just don't need the paranoia, mate. Like, it might not even be paranoia, but definitely not feeling 100%, mate. And it's just, it could, like you say, it's more likely to be flu or something else. But what bloody bad timing, mate, honestly. What bad timing. I ain't even bothered about myself. It's just giving it to people.
The vast majority of symptoms that indicate coronavirus, from what I've read, is dry cough and high temperature. It tends to, it basically will give anyone a high temperature. So if you've got a high temperature, then, you know, well, depending on what country you're in, or you know what advice you're following,
that's it. You can have a high temperature
that's
for
when you've got to think,
a lot of
well,
reasons,
maybe,
yeah.
right? Exactly. So that is the number one indicator of this is high temperature. Hence the reason why everybody's checking temperatures left, right, and centre. Where I am, and I don't understand. I mean, it's not hard to check temperatures. It's not hard to check temperatures. It doesn't matter what kind of plan you have. Phase fucking 2 Boris bullshit, right? Doesn't matter what you're trying to do. How hard is it just to check fucking temperatures? I just don't get it. I'm sorry for my language tonight, but I just can't. I can't help it. You know, I'm finding it difficult to express my anger and emotion without using bad language in some respects here.
I fully agree with you, and the problem is that at this stage there's no real way of knowing who's actually infected, and they're not doing anything about culling it, or containing it rather. So it's just going to spread, and they're not going to have the resources in order to test people like this. Whereas what they should have done is got on it right at the start, and then maybe they would have been able to deal with it resource-wise, because if it's contained, if everyone who's got it's quarantined, if they, let's just say they tested absolutely everybody under suspicion of possibly having it, do you know what I mean? Then, okay, it's going to cost billions to do that, but like I said, I'd rather value somebody's life over billions of pounds, to be perfectly honest with you. But unfortunately, these government twats, I don't think they even think like that at all. I think they just think from it like the bottom line end of the day about the money. Like I said earlier, I just don't think that they're valuing the life of the residents like this. I mean, there's a comment here I just want to read out, a super chat from Mr. Silas 209, who comments, Denmark is in complete lockdown from yesterday. Yeah, absolutely, Denmark's in lockdown. You know, Ireland has closed schools, but the UK still has open borders, still allowing people from anywhere in the world to just come and move freely, still allowing people to go to work and to go to schools. Unbelievable.
I mean, again, I have to refer to this chat that I was having with my friend earlier, because it's one of those chats, you know. We didn't have a direct chat. It was literally just leaving audio messages to each other, like you do, you know, on the radio or something, you know. I was literally left him a few voice messages. He replies back. But some of the stuff that because I was basically saying everything that you've been saying to me and on the show tonight, I was kind of reiterating that to him, because I thought, well, end of the day, I just didn't understand what was going on, and he came back with some you know, very interesting responses, and I was basically saying, look, you know, bottom line, if China can get on top of this, surely any country in the world can. I know China's got a strong economy, et cetera, but surely, you know, Europe, you know, the UK, 5th largest economy in the world, surely we have the resources, we have the scientific know-how. Plus the fact that we, you know, essentially could listen to people that have already been dealing with this in China and work out a really good strategy and sort this shit out and basically mirror what China's been doing, but maybe just do it slightly differently. But, you know, my good friend out here, he said it's not possible because of manpower. Basically said that the number one problem with the United Kingdom and many other countries is manpower. In China, you have 1.4 billion people. Okay, you lock down Wuhan, you lock down Hubei. You've still got over 1 billion people that essentially are in regions that haven't been hit yet. And then everyone can send food into that. You can lock down that region completely. You can send food in. You can send resources in. You can send doctors in. At the same time, contain the spread. You know, and in many ways, this is what South Korea have also done, because they had this weird kind of like Christian cult thing. I don't know what that's about, right? They basically worship their you know, the founder there is some kind of angel of God, mental stuff, okay? But this guy, his church is based in Daegu in Korea, 2 million population, yeah, not the biggest population in the world. But anyway, that was basically the epicenter of Korea, so that they were able to basically lock down Daegu and follow the Chinese model. The trouble is in Europe and in the UK and the United States.
Henry, we're just having a few connection issues, mate. Are you able to go over to somewhere with a better connection? I just can't. It keeps cutting out, mate.
I can certainly try, mate. I think it stopped raining. I could take this outside.
Okay, I mean, just to the balcony. You've always got good signal on there. But
Right,
yeah, no, it's definitely cutting out a bit too much for my liking here, Henry Hotspur.
trouble is, I cannot because of my battery situation. That is my problem. That is my
That's all right. I
problem.
mean, we'll probably be wrapping this one up pretty soon anyway. But yeah, I just wanted to make sure the people with the Bacon Brigade out here could hear you. Shout out to everybody that's tuning in: the Saint, the Fiend, the Music Fiend, Matty Rush, Stefan Antonio, Sim, Kirsch, Matty Rush. Said you twice, but you're a legend. Mr. Garrett, JP, of course, Adfilling Skills, Andrew Perry, Nate, Diego Smith, everybody. Thanks so much for getting in here. Please do give it a thumbs up and get your thoughts in for the last part of the show here. But sorry, Henry. Yeah, it was cutting out there, so I wanted to make sure that
absolutely fine. So I mean, basically, what I was trying to get at is the spread in Europe and the spread in the United States.
So much better.
You don't really, for whatever reason, you don't seem to have an epicenter. You don't have somewhere that you can contain. Whereas China and Korea, to a certain extent, seems to have had that. Bottom line is, if you try to mirror, this is what my friend was saying. If you try to mirror what China have done in the UK, it wouldn't work, or it won't work. And I hated him saying this because I thought, come on, why can't we just get on top of this? And the simple fact of the reason is that there is nowhere to contain now. If you've got 5,000 to 10,000 infections or more, which the government have already admitted that they believe that is the case in the UK right now, there is nowhere to contain. If you can take the precautions, you can do anything that you can, but the spread is inevitable. So in a way, Boris has got it right. The spread is inevitable. But what they're not owning up to is the fact that they've allowed it to get to this stage. The UK just don't have the manpower. You don't have that big lump of land where you've got somewhere that you can contain and the rest of the country can come together and sort the shit out. That's the problem.
Yes, I fully agree with you, mate. It's going to be very difficult to contain. We'll get back onto the football briefly in a minute, but I just want to say a massive shout out to Matty Rush for sending in a PayPal donation. You bloody legend, Matt Rush. He's commented and said, "Take care, lads. Worrying times. Hen, when are you going to play Piggy at FIFA? That's the fight we want to see. Fury v Joshua is second on the bill. Top legends." Have you got a PC, Henry?
I've got FIFA. I've got a PS4 out here. I've got FIFA 19. Okay, I barely get a chance to play it because I never want to turn it on because in case my kids trash it or something, right? But the trouble is in China, put coronavirus to one side. In China, you cannot play online FIFA, right? I know.
What?
Well, I mean, it's a sort of nation that can get on top of the coronavirus, and they get on top of international
No.
FIFA play as well.
You're telling me you can't play a football simulation game against other people around the country? Why?
As far as I'm aware, no. There's no such thing as PlayStation Live out here. But apologies if I'm being an absolute caveman about this. Let me know if I'm wrong.
No. That's blown my bloody mind, mate. That can't be true. There's got to be Chinese gamers playing online against each other for sure. Come on.
I mean, you're not allowed Pornhub. You think you're allowed FIFA online?
Well, mate, I can maybe understand not having Pornhub if you really want to be, that much of an oppressive nation. But I can't understand not allowing people to play a game online against somebody.
As far as I'm aware, it doesn't exist. Have you ever played a game of FIFA against someone that's from China? Does it not come up with their nationality?
No, I haven't, mate. I never have done. But people in China do play football, so
I know. I know. Someone let me know if I'm wrong. I might be absolutely wrong here. But I haven't looked into it enough. But if I could do, I would be doing. But I'm a busy guy, right? But as far as I'm aware, I don't think you can.
The Saint says China have the intranet, not the internet. That is meant. You've just blown my mind there, Henry. I cannot believe that. China, one of the most, the one of the biggest tech hubs in the world. They don't even play online games against each other. Isn't that because is that something to do with almost I think we've spoken about this something similar before, where they just don't want the youth of the nation playing games like that and not being productive with their time. I think that's
possibly.
pretty much what it is.
I'm sure there's certainly online games when it comes to mobile games and PC. Right. I'm sure World of Warcraft. I'm sure that's all fine. But I think when it comes to to consoles, and I think it probably got something to do with the fact that PlayStation is Sony, which is Japanese, and Xbox is American, US. It's probably got something.
What about
it might have
PC
something to do
then?
with
Can
that.
you? Because I've got FIFA 20 on the PC, mate. I will
I'm not
buy
going
you
to play FIFA on the PC. I mean, I would do if it's good.
It's just the same. It's exactly the
Is
same.
it? Yeah, but what you plug a controller in and that?
Yes, mate. I just plug my Xbox controller into the USB port of the computer and it
Really?
just reads it when you play. Windows 10, baby. Come on, then.
Okay, well, if we get enough
100%.
PayPal donations and super
I will
chats,
buy you
then we'll
FIFA. I will buy you
we'll
FIFA
make
20
this-
and send you the download link. But actually, you better get it.
I don't think my computer would work. I've got one computer that's just a standalone, barely works, virus infected, not corona, and then I've got a fucking laptop that is just not going to cut the mustard, mate.
Oh, well, Matty Rush, thank you so much for your donation there, mate. And unfortunately, it's not looking like it's going to be anytime soon where I get to batter.
I'm not making excuses. I could batter the pig when it comes to FIFA.
Are you
Now and
kidding
then.
me?
Now and then.
Thanks, Henry. I needed a good laugh, mate. Oh, I was feeling too low and a bit miserable this morning, but oh my days, Henry, that's cheered me up no end. No, in all honesty, Henry has beat me before in the past on games of FIFA. That has happened.
Yeah,
but
FIFA
I'm guessing,
08, mate. I was the master, wasn't I?
FIFA 08, you just score from corners every single time. It was
Every
just
single
like,
time I just had
this
to
is
knack
pointless.
for it, didn't I?
This is pointless. But either way, ever since then, FIFA 9 onwards, it's like the win to loss ratio is probably like 80% in my favour. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, but there's been times where I've had my moments. I've been on form. Come on.
Well,
there
maybe
have
there's been
times.
Well, this is it. This is why you're gonna have to get FIFA 20 so we can have a game. But from what you're telling me, even if you did get that, there's a fair chance that the Chinese government just would not even allow that at all.
Well, who knows?
That's shocking. But fair play anyway. There's a couple of people that have commented about Liverpool, and there's over 100 of you legends tuning in right now. Thanks so much for getting in here, everybody. Honestly,
Am I going to need to get another beer? Is this show going to go on? Because there's
how long is your battery, mate?
Right now.
How long's your battery?
I'm good. Whilst I'm plugged in, I'm fine, mate.
Oh, great stuff. Okay,
Absolutely
well,
fine.
yeah.
I could go all night, mate. Let's do an all nighter.
Well, I was going to say we keep it to about an hour or something like that, but we're about 50 minutes in. Morgan Freeperson says, get a VPN, Hen. Then you'll be able to play all these online
I've got one on my
games and stuff.
phone, but I don't know how to get a VPN for your PlayStation.
Well, you can
You
get
know
one
what I
for
mean?
your PC. You can get one for your PC 100%. 100%. They're all the same apps that provide the phone apps, provide PC Windows 10 apps. You've got Windows 10 out there,
That would probably work, but the trouble is it depends on the stability of the VPN, does it not?
Yeah, you'd probably have to buy one of those pro plans to get the necessary download and upload speed and stuff, so it probably would cost you something to do that. Probably the free versions are going to be not man enough for the job, I'd imagine. I don't know, but that's an option.
Yeah.
But anyway, let's just talk about the implications of our clubs then quickly, Henry, because this obviously is a football channel. We've talked about the coronavirus.
We haven't talked about Premier League at all yet. We haven't talked about the main subject there for us as, I mean, well, for you personally as your channel, Pig. And right now the season is over. Okay, for a Manchester United fan channel, I don't know what is the the future right now, Pig. What can we say?
Okay, so it really is. Obviously, it's completely up in the air. It depends what the Premier League decided to do. It also depends on what the government decided to do. They could play them behind closed doors if all the players are past a medical and a virus check and all that stuff. They could do that, but the chances are, Mikel Arteta's got coronavirus. He'll probably be recovered in a few days, though. Hudson-Odoi, there's going to be people that crop up and have it, and you have to segregate them. And if it's somebody like Mikel Arteta, you can't forcibly expect Arsenal to play a game. So the fact is, even after April 3rd, there's probably still going to be new cases, especially with the way that the UK government's approaching this and just allowing the spread. So I would imagine that this is not going to be taking place anytime soon. It's suspended until the 3rd of April at the very least, but it will probably be a lot longer than that, I believe, until we start seeing Premier League games taking place again. It all really depends, doesn't it? What are they going to do? They're not going to stop it where it is, because that's just shambolic. It makes it into a farce because,
of course.
Bournemouth, for instance, have, at 9 or 10 games left, they've got most of the top sides. They could be relegated, even though they're in a safe position right now. That's not fair for Norwich, who are currently in the relegation zone. Do you know what I mean? Stuff like that. That's massive implications. I think that's more implications. Relegation is bigger implications to the teams that get relegated than there is for Liverpool winning the league. Like, I think if you're going to do anything, if you have to reset and start again, then Liverpool, unfortunately, you're going to have to not have the title. But really,
that's not going to happen, Pig.
No, it's not going to happen. No, I'm just saying if you're going to do that. But if the shoe was on the other foot, if United were about to win the league, then of course, what I would want to happen is then, just like you said, Henry, there's a potential that maybe next season we have a shorter season, or we don't have a season at all, and we spread the remaining games out over the next year, or something like that, which would obviously be absolutely gashtastic, but it's a possibility. Or maybe you just decide, you know what, everybody, instead of playing 38 games, we're just going to play 19 games. So, you draw a hat, you have a home game and an away game and a home game and an away game, and it's not ideal because you're not playing the same team home and away, but you have some sort of a system like that. You just say this season's screwed, but that's what we're going to do. We're going to have a short season because that's how we can manage it. I don't know, but what it means for Man United is we're all right either way, really, because look, well, actually we're not if they decided to just leave it as it is right now, but they're not going to do that. Reset it. If they left it as it is right now, we'd be in the Champions League next season. But, if they reset it, then obviously we wouldn't be in the Champions League next season, and it would just be a calamity. So they're not. Then that's the least likely option. They can't possibly do that.
I think all of football needs to be frozen for the same amount of time. So, for example, Premier League's frozen right now. The Liga, Bundesliga, Serie A, and the rest of it across Europe needs to follow suit. This is what FIFA should implement, that all of football is currently suspended, okay? Yeah. And then all of football, when the time is right, picks it up at the same time. So even if, for example, miraculously, coronavirus was under complete control in the UK, but the rest of Europe was still struggling, which I don't think is going to happen, but just as an example, I still think that because European football is so interlocked because of the different competitions, there is no other way than suspending everything until a time and date where everything is okay and is ready to resume, and then we resume like nothing ever happened. And for that to happen, I think we're going to miss a season of football. I said it here first. I think that makes the most sense right now, because I think we're probably looking at several months, if not the rest of this year, that we're not going to see football start up again in Europe. This is because this is just the beginning of the pandemic in Europe. Open your eyes, people out there, lads and lasses. This is just the beginning. It's not going to go away. We know that now. This is not going to go away. Okay, so we're probably looking at football resuming once things are under control, which I hope happens, let's say, end of this year at best, beginning of next year, okay? And then we're just going to miss a season of football in its entirety. Euro 2020 is postponed until 2021 next summer, and we go with it after that. That's it.
Yeah, basically the Saints just said that in the comment section. Thank you for your comment, the Saint. He says, cancel the Euros, free the summer up to finish the season, small break after that. Yeah, that might be a possibility as well. I think you've got to continue the season, even if we've got to start it 2 years down the line. You've just got to finish off the season at some point. That's the only really fair way of doing it.
Absolutely. However long it takes, we need to just start it up where we were. Simple.
Yes, I'd like to read this comment from Morgan Freeperson. Thank you so much for getting in, Morgan. He says, Spurs have had a let-off. So let's talk about your team. I think if anybody's benefiting from this, it's probably Spurs, because think about it. United were flying high, was due to play you on Sunday. That's not happening. You've got injury problems. Bergwijn's out, Son's out, Kane's out. For all we know, by the time this all gets sorted out and Spurs play the next fixture, you can have those guys back. So I think it's actually a massive plus.
Well, I'm hoping there's not a COVID-19 outbreak at Spurs. I mean, obviously we just played away in Germany to RB Leipzig the other day. I mean, who knows at the moment? Who knows? That's how bad this outbreak is. We could be looking at infections, because football's one of those games. I said this on the show the other day. There's spitting, there's hugging, there's sweating, there's the handshaking, there's everything, isn't there?
Yeah,
it's the perfect
absolutely.
place to spread this type of thing. So let's hope that Spurs haven't picked up anything there. Just like we hope that no players or no one, no human beings picking this stuff up. But obviously that's happening.
Yeah, if they're not testing all the athletes
of,
on the field when they're going out to play to find out if they are positive or negative, I'm guessing they were going to they were going to plan on doing that if they were going to keep it going, but they're not anyway. They're not playing. But yeah, if they didn't do that, you're absolutely right. Like we saw the game the other day, the last Linz game. United scored 5 goals. There's definitely bodily contact. All the players are hugging each other after all the goals. It's like, come on.
Well, it takes 2 days to get your test results back. It's not like they can just do an instant kind of test on you. I've heard of these drive-through tests that they're doing in the UK, which is a good idea. They're doing that in South Korea as well, which is brilliant. But I don't know how that works exactly. Obviously, it's not like you're driving through and you're picking up your Big Mac or your chicken, your bucket of chicken wings or whatever from KFC. This is obviously they're testing you for coronavirus. So I don't know how that works. You probably input your details. It's a swab. It's a swab of your throat, I believe. And then you get your test results back a couple of days later. So if they had implemented that into the Premier League or into football, then they'd be having to test players, regularly. And I think there's money involved. It doesn't just cost nothing to test people for coronavirus. Okay.
Yes. Yeah, I think was it Rincon the other day said it cost a few $1,000s in America to have a coronavirus test at the moment.
Absolutely crazy. Yeah.
Depending on where you are,
but in terms of Tottenham Hotspur. Harry Kane, Bergwijn, Son Heung-min. Yeah, I mean, well, if you put it like that, let's put virus to one side for a second. We're just looking at it in pure footballing terms. Yeah, I mean, it is good news for Tottenham Hotspur. Do you know what I mean? Of course it is.
Yes. Susan, how you doing? Comments, thank you. Why is he talking about the virus and not football? Henry, we don't want to hear your issues. And Joe, thank you for being patient. Fair play, Susan. Listen. This is all we can talk about. The Premier League has just been suspended due to coronavirus. Like that is what we can talk about. Unfortunately, we did a preview the other day about Spurs versus United on Sunday. It's not happening, so we can't talk about that.
We can't even do that anymore. I know.
No, I mean we could talk about.
So looking forward to that as well.
We're going to talk about our favourite players of all time.
Susan, you come up with some ideas, some things that you'd like us to talk about, and we'll go for it. But until you come up with something that's worth mentioning, I think, unfortunately, coronavirus is the overriding topic right now.
I just love the rip on Henry there, Susan. Nice one. Thank you for getting in here. She's a legend on Twitter. Check her out, Susan Havria. Thank you very, very much. But listen, what I would want to say, is I know what you're saying. Like, people come on this channel, they don't want to hear about all this doom and gloom. This is an escape for people in a lot of ways. Like, they're tuning in, they're just hanging out. They don't want to. If they wanted to talk about the coronavirus, they'll watch the news. Or I understand what you're saying, but the news has broken today that the Premier League has been suspended. European Championships are potentially, going to be.
I'm getting a beer. Okay.
Okay, all mate. Right. Yeah. Yeah, no worries, Susan. Yeah, we have, so basically me and Henry do a podcast every single Wednesday called The Pig and the Hen Show. And it's me and Henry. So we do that every Wednesday. We have done for years. And we talk about it live on this YouTube channel, just about football. He's a Spurs fan. I'm a Man United fan. And we just talk about football most of the time. Sometimes the occasional other hot topic or whatever. But certainly, obviously, with all this stuff going on, crikey, we definitely have to talk about it because the Premier League's been suspended. Mikel Arteta's got it. A Hudson-Odoi, a Rugani. There's a bunch of professionals that are getting it right now. And the world of football, not just the world of football, but the world, but certainly the world of football is being massively impacted by this to the point where, we don't know when the next game's going to be coming. So it does need to be talked about. Hopefully, Henry's insight earlier on, because obviously he is in Guangzhou, China. He has dealt with a lot of information when it comes to coronavirus, and he's pretty clued up. So I've just thought we'd have him on. We'd have a little bonus show and talk about the Premier League being suspended and that kind of thing. Appreciate everybody who's getting in here. Still over 100 of you legends in here. Please do us a favour if you're watching. Smack a cheeky little thumbs up on this video. Get your thoughts and opinions in. If you could subscribe to the channel if you're new, that would be bloody awesome. And one thing I would like to say as well to the people that tune in, there's a lot of you here. I don't know if some of you are staying home off work at the moment, which is why we've got more in at this time, because obviously this is a random show. This isn't a Wednesday where it's planned. This is just a random show, so I appreciate you all getting in here. Is that because a lot of you are not at work right now because you've taken time off, or I'd be really interested to know, or is it not really impacting you at the moment? You just carry on as normal. Please let me know. Also, this channel has been doing good stuff recently. We've been growing nicely. The Bacon Brigade community is absolutely fantastic, and I just want to reassure everyone this channel is not going away just because there's no football on over the coming months, or there's something in the coming month. This doesn't mean there's not going to be content on the channel. I'm going to try and get some content out for you. Absolutely, I'll be playing FIFA later on tonight. I'll be playing, a couple of episodes here and there a week. We'll be talking to Henry, of course, on the Pig and the Hen show every single Wednesday about football and about the major footballing headlines, which unfortunately, at the moment, there's probably not going to be that much new stuff going on. Maybe the odd transfer gossip, or I don't know, but right now, realistically, there's not going to be much getting done in the world of football. But me and Hen will continue the Wednesday show, even if we don't have to do it about something else. But definitely there will be a lot of content still coming on the channel. And what I'd like to ask of the Bacon Brigade and the Bacon and Egg Brigade is to get behind the Pig and the Hen show and also the Flying Pig United YouTube channel, because at this moment in time, we all don't know what's going on. I know a lot of you people won't be able to work either. I'm do the part-time Amazon deliveries and stuff like that. It's not something I really want to do right now. Handing people my phone to sign, for packages and stuff like that.
24 hours. I mean, 24. It hasn't been confirmed, but there are studies indicating that the coronavirus can stay on cardboard surfaces for up to 24 hours.
There you go.
If you get in deliveries here, cardboard, you smell it. It's been sprayed to shit with disinfectant every single box. I mean, will they start doing that in the UK? Probably not. No. With what's going on there right now. Okay. What I can say in terms of the Pig and the Hen show going forward, I'd like to see more interaction with the fans. Figure, end of the day, if it's not end of days, but obviously we've got an international situation in our midst. We've got an international following for the Pig and the Hen show, and I think it's the perfect time that we're going to be interacting more, speaking to each other, finding out what you guys want to talk about, getting you guys calling in, telling us your experiences of whatever it is, coronavirus or not. That's how I'd like to see the show over the next few weeks, because there's nothing better than communicating. Simple as that.
Absolutely. So there will be a big element of fan phone-in stuff right now. There's going to be a lot of people at home off work in a few weeks' time, probably. I don't know. I mean, the government's not really saying anything. They're just going to let people spread. But there will be people
depending on where
who
you
have
are
to take
from in the world, you know. I mean, it'd be interesting.
Absolutely.
I mean, that's the thing, Pig. Are you able to see where the nationalities of people that listen to the show? It comes up with those sorts of statistics on YouTube. It's a crazy world we live in. But there we go. So we actually have an international nationality demographic of the people that are fans of.
Yeah, the majority of people that watch this channel, the majority are not from the UK, believe it or not. About 48% are from the UK, and 52%. This is the last time I looked. 52% are from the rest of the world. So yeah, it is obviously a global audience we have on this channel. So you're absolutely right. Anybody around the world who wants to call in, you can talk to us about your experiences of what's going on, where you are. Could be very interesting. Your
personal experiences will probably be some of the most interesting stories that you could hear anywhere. Yeah.
Ms528 says Pig Amazon Flex. Yeah, absolutely, mate. That is what it is. So it's pretty decent.
I used to do that as well.
Henry used to do that also. It's actually not bad. I mean, it's flexible. That's the whole point of it. You can do it as much or as little as you want. You use your own vehicle. There's pluses and minuses, of course. But it's all right. But I'm not doing that at the moment because I don't want to put myself at unnecessary risk with the supply chain. Who's been touching these things? Who's been breathing on it, coughing on it, sneezing on it, etc. You just don't know. And like Henry was said, in China, they're disinfecting.
Pig was always better at his job than me.
And you were a shocking Amazon driver, mate. If you were fucking shocking.
If you weren't at home, I'm chucking your box in your back garden over the fence. Do you know what I mean? If there's nowhere else to put it, I ain't taking that box back to the depot. No. You're getting that box. You've ordered something. You're having it one way or another.
I know. I mean, Henry was the kind of guy. I mean, you live in China. It doesn't matter if you're not in and it needs a signature. He's doing a little cheeky freaking X on it.
I'd sign it for you. Absolutely. I look at your name and I just think, yes. Sarah Mansfield. Okay, a little bit of an S.M. whatever. Do you know what I mean? That looks about right.
No, in all seriousness, he did used to send me on WhatsApp when we were working daily. He would send me images of, and he'd call it flex art. And what he would do is he would put, say if somebody wasn't in and he had to leave a parcel somewhere, but they didn't have an allocated place, he would just find something, like
hide it behind your ornamental cat that you have there. It's like some brass fucking cat on your porch. Yeah, that's
Hence the type of guy to lift your doormat up, put a box underneath it, and then just put the doormat on top of the fucking box.
Yes, yeah, absolutely. Well, do you know what I mean? That works. I never got any complaints.
Another time you
got more complaints than I did doing the job properly. That's what was the joke about it, wasn't there?
No, I didn't, mate. You were picking up. I had as many complaints in a whole bloody year and a half as you did in bloody 3 months, mate. We talking about. But anyway, fair play to you, though, Hen. You know, you didn't get sacked, did you? So you
I didn't.
The system there, mate.
Still asking for me back, you know, and I'm not in the country. Do you know what I mean? Live life in the fast lane. The way I see it, I didn't feel that bad about it, because at the end of the day, as an Amazon customer, if you don't, I always try my best to make sure you're going to get that parcel. The worst case scenario, you're not going to get that parcel if someone's stolen it. And if someone's stolen it, is that my fault? Is that really my fault? That
well, it is if you're not supposed to leave it there.
Oi,
you know,
oi.
It needs a
bit of a parcel there, I'm going to have that away. And then the customer complains. I say, I never received my parcel. And then the delivery driver gets in trouble. Fair enough. I took that risk. That's on me. Yeah, fair. Happy days. No one's a loser, are they? Do you know what I mean? Simple as that. If you really want something, go to the shop and buy it. Yeah?
Hello to SNG Salim, how you doing, matey? Sim, how you doing? The Saint, how you doing, matey? Legend. Thunder and Joy comments and says, no wonder I never get my Amazon parcels, the bloody hen. But yeah, it's not something that I really want to do right now. I mean, as dramatic as it might sound, it just seems like I look at this case in Italy, you know, I've got an elderly mum and some elderly family members and stuff like that. You just don't really want to be taking the risk of passing it on to them. It's not about me. I'm I was going to say a young fit man then, but a young man who's, needs to work on his fitness. But I should be okay. Statistically, I should be. It doesn't mean I will be, you know. Bit on the porky side, smoker. My chances of having a fatality from catching coronavirus are higher than, you know, a non-smoker of my age, say.
Higher than the hen?
Yeah.
Maybe.
Well, I don't know about that, actually. Probably quite similar. Anyway, yeah, so it is a major concern at the moment. That's why we're making the video about it. Get your thoughts and opinions in, lads and lasses, about anything you'd like to discuss. Hotshot says, amazing, throw my antique pottery over the hedge. We've all done it, to be fair. We've all done it. Check this out. I've got a story for you, right? So I got sent away like 20 miles one time, and I had this little industrial estate, and it was on a Saturday that I was doing the shift, or maybe even a Sunday, actually, because when I got there, it was a gated little industrial unit with about 4 or 5 industrial buildings there, and it's gated, completely gated, and it's locked. And there's no bastard around, nobody's answering the phone, it's locked. They've ordered a delivery for that day when the business isn't actually open. So rather than go the 20 odd miles back to the depot, it was a cheeky little, just a regular, normal little small parcel, right? So do you know what happened? I went back to my Frisbee days, and I tell you what, got it pretty damn close to the front door of their unit. That's what I'm saying. Now, I don't know what was in there. Sorry if it was something fragile, but I ain't going back 20 miles from my last bloody parcel. Do you know what I'm saying?
Oh, you're so bad, Pig. You're so bad. It's like the worst thing you've ever done, isn't it? You know, you should. You know, I'm not even going to say some of the stuff I've done when it comes to that job on live.
It's so true, though.
You know
what, you mean like pissing in people's gardens, then?
Yeah, I like to make it rain on occasion.
Oh, it's brilliant. You don't matter. You don't work for that Jeff Bezos prig anymore.
No, once I didn't even, you know, couldn't even find the address. So I thought, fuck it, dump it on this person's house. Hopefully they know who this is.
That's what happened to me the other day, by the way, and I'm not even joking, right? I received an Amazon package the other day, I go on my app. I'm waiting for it. I go on the app, and it's got a photo of it, and it's just somebody else's porch, but it says delivered to me, right? Wasn't my freaking house, right? So then I had to like try and hunt it down, which I didn't find. Wasn't a close neighbour, and then I had to phone up Amazon, which was a bloody nightmare. And they said, oh, well, hopefully, one of these kind neighbours will return it in the next 24 hours. If they don't, phone us back and we'll replace it. So the next morning, one of my neighbours, still don't know who it was, had put it inside, right? So, but that is just literally you, Henry. It's just like, you can't be asked. Like, you could have easily just left it for me. But it's just like the closest one. Yeah, fuck it, that'll do. Don't need to double check.
Yeah, but I mean, this was one where I just could not find them. They weren't answering the phone. I did try to do the job properly. I'm not an absolute muppet. You know what I mean? But every time that I just got pissed off with it, I thought, fuck this. You know what I mean? It just did what I needed to do, as any man should. Only getting paid a certain amount. I ain't driving around the block a million times, getting through all my fuel. Do you know what I mean? Need to make profit on this. Simple as that.
But yeah, lads and lasses, that is the reason why you don't get your Amazon parcels sometimes, or why you get them and they're absolutely messed up. So the point we were making and why we got onto this topic is because obviously it's not something that I want to do at the moment necessarily, because like Henry said, that we can live on the surfaces and things like that. Plus you're just interacting with many people in a day, and you are having physical contact with them as well. So I think that's something that we should try and avoid right now is doing those type of things. It just makes sense to me. But obviously if necessary, you might have to do it. But the reason I was saying it is that I was saying, please keep supporting the show. Please keep watching the show and just getting involved whenever we do one. I know a lot of you will be around more often in the daytime and stuff like that. And you'll be looking for content online because you won't be working necessarily or whatever it may be. So there'll be more content out here. I'm just saying, keep your eyes peeled. We'll try and do as much stuff as we can whenever we can. So please do get involved on the channel. Bunch of legends, 110 of you legends tuning in. Thanks so much for stopping by. Please do smack a like on it. Maybe we can smash 100 likes on this video. That would be sensational.
Honestly, I did take the Amazon job properly. I don't want anyone to think badly of me. I am a good guy. I'm not some absolute prick, right? But it just sometimes beggars belief. This is the thing. As a customer, just use a little bit of common sense. If you order something, try to be in. If you're not in, then you got to be thinking that someone's going to be delivering that thing. So surely
answer your bloody phone,
leave it in the porch or leave it in this place, or just assume that it's probably going to be the phone, or assume it's going to be left in left at the front of your property, because we have to deal with all these bullshit fucking stipulations if you haven't left a comment or anything, that just turns into an absolute stupid headache, right? It's as simple as that, guys. If you're ordering Amazon, we've all got our part to play. That's what I'm saying.
Very true.
I just need to give my charger to my missus. All right, I'll be back.
Mate. Nice one. No, he's absolutely right. It depends on what the sort of route you get and what houses you get in and who's in as to whether it's going to be a good day or not. Sometimes it's a great day, other times it's a gash day. But anyway, let's get into your comments and read a few of them out. Stefan says, how long will it be before mail is suspended? Very interesting comment there as well. We're getting mail at the house every single day, Stefan, from the postman, obviously. Or you call him the mailman, I'm guessing, if you're calling it mail to begin with. But maybe not, because we call it post. But either way, we're getting the post every single day. That could have been touched, well, it has been touched by multiple people on its way there. Henry said it can live on services for a while. So, how long until post becomes an issue? That's a great point you make there. Forget Amazon, everyone gets post delivered to them daily. So, crikey, I mean, it is worrying. It's very worrying.
The most important thing right now is just assume that anything you touch might have coronavirus on it. I mean, I know that's a bit of a head fuck, and it's horrible to think that you just got to live your life like that right now. But that's sure as hell. That's what I do. That's what my family does. It's like, if I put my hands on anything, I have to realise that it might have something on it, and I will not touch my face. Won't touch, I won't put my fingers on my lips, on my nose, on my eyes until I've washed them. Simple as that. So it's like, a normal human being touches their face multiple times a day. I do not. I've made the mental. I've just touched my face there, but up here is all right. Okay, but I've made the mental note that I will not touch my face after touching objects that I'm not sure about until I've washed them. That's what I do.
Yeah, that's what you have to do. I mean, I'm terrible. I'm just touching, but I'm not. I haven't really processed all that yet. But you're absolutely right, Henry. I need to. I've been touching my face throughout this the whole time. I have washed my hands a whole bunch of times today already, though. Like, any time I touch them, like I did get the post earlier this morning, opened the letters, disposed of the envelopes and all that, and then did wash my hands thoroughly afterwards. So,
Wash your hands. Yeah.
bit of a poor connection again, Henry. Where did you go last time? That was better. We've got a poor connection, mate. Poor connection.
We're in the same place. We're in the same place.
Okay, well, we've got a terrible connection. But anyway, yeah.
Right. Well, all I was saying is, end of the day, what you've done is you washed your hands thoroughly after opening that envelope, and then, other than that, you've just been in your own home and you've touched your own stuff and touched your face. That's fine, because that stuff is not infected.
That's right.
It's foreign objects. It's when you're going out. It's things coming into your home. It's stuff that you don't know where that's been. It's stuff that other people may have touched or handled.
Right.
That's all it is.
Yeah. Fair enough. We've been going for an hour and 20 minutes, 115 of you legends in here. I think, Henry, even though it's not planned and we're not going to do it's not a pig in the hen show, I think what we should do, because I've got one, and I'm sure yours is probably the same, let's just talk about Pig and Hen's melter of the moment.
Pig and hen's melter of the moment. The pig and the hen's melter of the moment. What's a melter?
Melter of the moment. Who's my melter of the moment, you ask? It's that floppy-haired, bleach-blonde twat, Boris Johnson. What an absolute bloody melter. No, of course we didn't discuss it. It's completely unplanned, but we talked about it at the start. But honestly, despicable leadership, I think, shown by our Prime Minister. Absolute mess up of a man here. Opportunity to unite the nation. Show that you are thinking about the best interests of the population, the general population. No, what they want to do, though, is just let nature take its course, allow all these 70 plus, 80 plus people that have got underlying illnesses just to die off, so then they don't have to strain on the NHS anyway. Then they don't have to pay out the pension plans to these people anymore. I think it's as horrible and as dark as what I'm saying. Call me a conspiracy theorist, but I would look at the bottom line and go, yeah, it doesn't matter how much we've got to spend here. Let's just save as many people as possible. But I don't think they do. I think these politicians sit around and they just think, you know what? Let's weigh up, bit of collateral damage, however many thousand people, they're elderly, they're a strain on society anyway. Maybe we should just say that the best course of action scientifically is just to let it carry on. You know? Melter of the moment. Absolute disgusting government that we've got in this country. It actually makes me want to leave. It does. After all this blows over, do you know, I'm going to go to the Winchester. I'm going to have a nice cold pint, and I'm going to wait for all this to blow over. And when it does blow over, Henry, I'm getting the fuck out of this country, mate. I'm telling you, it's really pissed me off. Like, I'm not happy with how we've dealt with this situation so far at all. I think they're doing a disservice to the population, the civilians living in this country, and I think it's a disgrace. And there's other countries doing better, and I just think that this country's gone to the dogs, mate. I think that it's got to the stage where you know, it's just that they're that corrupt at the top there. We know politics in this country doesn't work. It's a bloody farce, like a bunch of school children bickering most of the time. You know, it doesn't actually work. But I just think it's got to the stage now where really they've lost the heart. They've lost the heart. That's what it is.
I can't disagree with that at all. As you know, obviously, I'm no longer in the UK. You know, if you follow the pig and the hen back far enough, you may have even seen footage of me and the pig back in the day when we were still both living in the UK. And I made my decision for my own reasons. I won't go into that right now, but yeah, I think I made the right decision all day long. We know Gunshi. Is Gunshi listening this evening? Is Gunshi involved?
No, Gunshi's not involved. Peter Lyon, though, is. Peter Lyon, shout out to you, mate.
Peter Lyon, that's another expert. Apologies for not meeting up for a beer with you, Peter Lyons. I know you touted that, but my missus wouldn't allow it. She's just worried I'm going to get raped or something by some crazy fan. I'm sure you're not that, but who knows? All right, okay.
Really?
Well, yeah, pretty much. Obviously,
okay.
Gunshi's an expat. I mean, we probably have a few expats out there. So, Pig, you could, obviously it's the minority in terms of, the amount of British people living in the UK in versus the amount of people that are not. But there's probably, I don't know, there's probably a lot of expats that listen to the Pig and the Hen Show. I'd be interested to know, apart from me, Gunshi, Peter Lyons, there's probably a few more. Let us know.
Yeah, I think you're probably right there, but I'm not even joking, Henry. And I can't honestly think that my future doesn't necessarily lie in this country, because I just don't agree with the ethics of our government to the point where it's almost like I disagree that much that I feel bad staying here while they're in charge. As ridiculous as that sounds, like I've never really felt like this about government, but after this, it just makes me question everything.
But where would you
go?
Where would you go though? That's the problem.
Well, I think the main places I've always wanted to go, if I was going to go abroad, there's probably four places on the list where I would finish my days or whatever. I've always wanted to live in Iceland for some reason. I just really like the idea of Iceland. It's got really low crime, great education, low population. It's dark most of the time. I'm a nocturnal sort of being, you know what I mean? I've just got, I don't know, just fancy Iceland for some reason.
You're a strange fan, you are.
Strange one, Finland.
You're
Finland as well.
Scandinavian at heart, aren't you?
Well, maybe. I don't know. Maybe somewhere in my bloodline I come from the Vikings. It would make a lot of sense.
Lead Viking, don't you? You do. Absolutely. You just want to get back to your roots, isn't it? You need to do your family tree or something, don't you? You probably...
Canada. Canada's another great option.
All cold
for
places.
Expats. Yeah, I mean, there's something funny about that. The one hot place in contrast that is on the list would be Australia. Australia is always one of those places I like the idea of, because it's very vast. The population's only 20 million. You've still got your major cities. It's a pretty happening place, places like Sydney and Melbourne and stuff like that. But you've also got the outback, and it's just the wildlife there. It's pretty awesome. At the same time, things like spiders and that kind of stuff, that sketches me.
Thing is, have you looked into how easy it is for you to go and live in these places?
I have, yes. Obviously, that's going to change now that the UK have gone out of the EU. Previously, if I wanted to go to Iceland, no worries at all. I'd just go and do that.
Okay.
But obviously, things are going to change over the course of the next year, so it's probably not the best time to be looking at doing this right now. Canada, though, if you're British, it's like you have got a massive advantage in terms of immigration. I think 25%, correct me if I'm wrong, somebody, I think 25% of the population of Canada are expats from Britain.
Wow, I didn't know that.
So I find that, it's obviously quite a good place to lay your hat, if you like, from that point of view. And I just like the whole idea of Canada. They've got a few more liberal sort of views, which I'm in favour of. They've also got it's a very beautiful country. It's vast. It's Canada's not getting involved with any freaking bullshit, are they really? Unless Britain goes to war, obviously they are part of the Commonwealth. It's like Canada's just a chilled out place. Like Australia, it's like if a World War III broke out, I'd be pretty chilled out if I lived in Australia. Okay, they might come and but really, who's fucking with Australia, mate? You know what I mean?
Well, Iceland's a good shout, because end of the day, the most views I believe that's ever occurred on your channel, forgive me if I'm wrong, was England Iceland, where we unfortunately lost. I think it was over 250, over 250,000 views on that. Yeah. And a lot of Icelandic viewers on that particular video, right? So yeah, you'd be welcomed with open arms, I'm sure. So would I. Let's go to Iceland.
I say we're probably like celebrities on the level of I don't know, on the level of Dick and Dom.
I mean,
what's
the population now? The population is pretty...
It's about 200k, I think.
Exactly.
Maybe a little bit more.
It's about 200,000 people that live in Iceland, right? Is that right? Okay, and we had over 250,000 views on that video, and I think pretty much half of them were Icelandic. So basically,
most
half
of them were
Iceland
Icelandic.
has seen that, it knows who we are, mate. Essentially,
that video went viral. Pretty much only in Iceland. The whole population of Iceland saw that video and no bastard else.
It's crazy, isn't it? It is crazy.
It's 364,000 is the approximate 2019 population of Iceland. But what I like about Iceland is it is a low population. I think it's got fantastic education. I think they hold up ridiculously well in terms of education. Let me just put reasons to live in Iceland, and I'll read it out because I did this a little while ago. And there are
It's
some
certainly
very
somewhere
compelling
I'd like
reasons.
to go on holiday. I think it's a fascinating place. It's a cold island. It's not going to be for everyone, but it's intriguing, isn't it?
Yeah, and no, it's not for everyone, but also Icelandic women, mate. Come on, do you know what I mean? Like they're all blonde, they're all hot. just a bonus, just a little
Okay,
bonus.
it depends what you're into. I love my Asians, as you know. Anyway,
Well, there you go,
can we
yeah.
get on to my melter of the moment?
Please do. Let me play the theme tune. It's time for Henry Hotspur's melter of the
Pig
moment.
and melter of the moment. The pig and the hen's melter of the moment. What's a melter?
Go for it.
Okay, my melter of the moment has to be the European Union. They were already reeling from the loss of the UK departing from the EU. Okay, this has been, massive news essentially over the last few years, and the UK looked stupid, looked silly. The fact that it took so long for us to actually detach, and we're still in a transitional period. Absolute melt job from our side. But the EU, as I said, were reeling from this. Suddenly, we leave, the coronavirus hits. Do you know what? I think it was almost like an emotional reaction to the fact that the EU was not having its happiest times at the beginning of this year. And it's like, no, the EU as it is, without Great Britain, without the UK, we're going to stick together. We're going to keep our open borders. Blah 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 blah. This is what the EU is about. Okay, I mean, I kind of almost feel sorry for them in a way that I kind of feel like that reactionary response may have been, in some regards, this is almost turning into Close Encounters of the Third Kind. But it was almost a response to the fact that they just lost Britain out of the EU, and they're like, right, we just have to stick to our fundamentals here. So coronavirus hits. We're keeping open borders. We're the EU. This is what we do. How fundamentally sick and wrong was that decision to make? It's like a decision made by school children. It's like, no, we're still going to allow people just to walk around, regardless of the fact that there's murderers and rapists around. That might sound like a poor what am I trying to say? Comparison. But that's exactly what it is. Okay, we're not talking about murderers and rapists, but essentially, it's even worse than that. It's worse than that.
It is worse than that. Yes, they are murderers and rapists, mate. They're raping the land, and they're murdering the people effectively, or they're allowing them to come to harm. What's the difference to that? Despicable act, Henry. I agree entirely. The UK government, Boris, they've got this one wrong. I think they needed to act a couple of weeks ago. Like I said, I was that way as well. I'm not going to lie and say that I wasn't, because a couple of weeks ago I was quite nonchalant about it, and I know Boris was. Like I said, he went on this morning and he shook their hands and he said, "Don't worry, I'll wash my hands after," and he's all very, nonchalant about the whole situation. Yeah, I mean, I admit now I'm very worried about it. When you look at the local cases just around my area, there's a bunch of them. When you look at the amount of deaths that have taken place overall, I think it's currently at 7% mortality rate. Now, that doesn't include all the people that went undiagnosed and have recovered. Now, it probably does include all the people that were undiagnosed and then died, and then they've been diagnosed with that's the reason that they died in the autopsy or whatever. But yeah, so it's probably not quite as high as 7% in all honesty, but say it's 5%. That is still a significant amount of deaths, and I think even if you could bring that down to 4% with the actions of the government containing it for as best as possible, buying us a little bit of time to try and, it's a lot of lives, Henry, it is. So I think they've just had a nightmare here, mate, I really do. Italy obviously regret the fact they didn't do it. You said that the Chinese have actually sent some help over to the likes of Italy and stuff like that, just to to show them the process and how to
Well, they
best
have
deal
to.
with this.
The Chinese have sent teams across the world to countries that will listen. The Italians right now are kind of bending over and listening to anything the Chinese have got to say to a certain extent, which I completely understand considering the situation that they're in. They've donated 20 million US dollars to the World Health Organization in regards to combating coronavirus issues. They've sent a ton load of disinfectant to Pakistan. They've sent masks to South Korea. So I mean, China's doing their bit. As I said, I'm not going to turn this into let's say how great China is, but that's what's happening. The simple fact is, Angela Merkel has come out and said that we're looking at 70% of the German population potentially becoming infected. She's basically accepting the fact that Germany is screwed. Boris Johnson, or the medical chief of the government right now, is saying, worst case scenario, 80% of the UK population infected, 500,000 people dead. I mean, governments don't say crap like this unless they know shit has hit the fan. And this is what scares me. You don't hear stuff like this. Have you ever heard anything like that? Be prepared for loved ones to die, and worst case scenario, 500,000 people are going to die. Have you ever heard anything like that in your whole life? I mean, that is
I've never heard anything
ridiculous.
like that from a leader.
Especially when you're looking at another country, in this example, China, that is nowhere near that. Even if the figures are skew-if, even if it's not actually 3,000 deaths in China, it's actually 300,000. Okay, but for the UK to admit that worst case scenario they're looking at 500,000, which in terms of the UK population of 60 something million compared to China's population of 1.4 billion, beggars belief. I need to go get the charger again, or I'm going, because I'm going to have to.
Do you know what? Hotspur? I think we'll just about wrap this video up. We've actually been going for 95 minutes, mate. Do you know what I mean? It's pretty damn good Corona chat here. Do you know what I'm saying?
I know it's
done well.
depressing.
We've got to save something.
It's depressing.
We've got to save something for the Pig in the Hen show. And we'll probably do another, if there's any breaking news or anything to do with football or our teams over the weekend, we'll probably do something else, because our plan was to do the Sunday watch along, which is not going to happen. So maybe we can do something on the Sunday.
At the moment, I'm a teacher out here in China at the moment. I do online work, which isn't too much of a burden. So at the moment, I'm more available to the pig than I'd normally be in the normal world. So expect to see, regular Pig in the Hen content if possible. I mean, I think you might see a lot more of this, guys and girls out there. Stay tuned.
Absolutely, you're gonna be seeing plenty more. Dr. Bill says, "I want football." LOL. Oh, it's so annoying. There's no football on. I mean, just think about it. Like all the we're obviously all the people that are in this chat right now. Well, majority of them are very passionate football fans. That's what you're here for. We're talking about football. You love the football. We love the football. I love the football. Hen loves the football. We love football. There's no bloody football. It's a nightmare. It's like we've had one of our legs taken away or something at this moment in time. It literally feels just wrong. The fact that there's potentially no more football. Well, for who knows how long, the foreseeable future. The Euros are probably going to be off. That was they had the great plan. United, Ole building, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, Manchester United getting in the right direction. Bruno Fernandes absolutely bossing it. Think about it. We didn't even touch on this either, what this means for United, because United were on a good run. We were really improving things. Probably not going to be too bad for United, but like I say, Spurs, it's going to help them out. It's not going to help United out so much because we were in a good flow. Things were going very well, and we were building on it. We were going to finish probably in the top 5 and get Champions League football next season. We would have had Champions League football next season. We would have had the summer to build and spend and improve the side. And Manchester United, unfortunately, it's just not going to happen. We're going to remain there. And then whenever we come back, who knows if we're going to be in the same sort of run of form. It's a nightmare. It is. And I know there's a bigger picture here than football, but just to take it back onto the football right now, like it does, it's really made me quite sad. I was very depressed when I woke up this morning and saw the news because, it's like, what are we actually going to do with our time? Do you know what I mean? Might actually have to, don't know, we can't even socialise right now. You know, because you need to avoid people. So, drink. That's what Henry says. Get on the old booze. Dr. Bill says, Pig, do that 72-hour challenge now. Yes, Henry, I did a FIFA video last night, and in that FIFA video, I basically announced, and I am going to do this, you know what I mean? I said that the Premier League has been cancelled, and what I will do is a world record attempt stream on YouTube for the longest amount of time repetitively playing FIFA Ultimate Team. I've got 48 hours to beat.
Don't do it.
48 hours to beat, mate. What do you mean don't do it?
Yeah, but no, because I mean it's dangerous.
I've always wanted a world record,
dangerous
mate.
To do that.
Nah, I can handle it, mate. I've stayed up for days before. Come on.
Yeah, 48 hours continuously playing Ultimate Team, but I mean, no one wants to lose you, Pig. Do you know what I mean? You know,
I don't think that's going to kill me. I know people have died before from marathon gaming. I know that is a thing.
It is a thing.
Yeah, I know that is a thing, but, you know, I'm going to take the necessary precaution. I'm going to sleep for 18 hours before I start.
When's the last time you stayed up for 48 hours?
I have done it before. I don't know the last time, but I've definitely done it before.
Yeah, but I think you and your body was in a better shape that time that you did that than it is now.
No, listen, the Bacon Brigade will take me through, though, mate. This is the plan, right? Okay, so this was what would happen.
Bacon Brigade,
I've got to have an 18-hour epic sleep.
Do not promote this stuff, because you know what I mean? You're just a YouTuber to a lot of these fans, but to me, you're my friend. Do not do this.
Mate, in all honesty, somebody's just got the world record for it. That's why I saw it, and it was 48 hours. Why can that twat do it and the pig can't?
How was their fitness? I bet they were,
I think they were probably some
physically fit.
some Cheeto-fingered gamer, to be fair.
Some young,
mate,
physically fit.
Mate, I'm 32. I'm more physically fit than you are, sunshine. Do you know what I mean?
Well, that's debatable. Okay.
That's not debatable.
No,
I could run you around the block, and I could outperform you with a strength and conditioning challenge.
What about this person?
Don't underestimate the pig.
That's just done the record.
Do you know what I mean? Yeah, this guy who done the record. Who's the guy that did the record? Let's have a look. Let's have a look at this guy.
Please.
I bet he ain't bloody Ryan Reynolds in Blade 3, mate,
I bet
or whatever.
he is, actually.
No, I bet he's bloody not.
It wouldn't surprise me if he's not.
I bet he's bloody not,
Sorry, it
mate.
wouldn't surprise me if he is, should I say.
Oh, dear. Anyway, how am I going to find this? Ultimate Team world record, longest time FIFA 20 attempt. I don't know. You speak for a moment, Henry. I want to look for this.
All I'm saying is these people that try to do these world records and stuff, it's just like, it's kind of cool when you make a world record, but you need to take it seriously. Like, if I was the pig,
I would be taking it seriously.
Well, hang on a sec. You said speak a second. Do you want me to speak or not?
Yeah.
Okay.
Fucking go on then.
So if you're gonna take on this kind of challenge, I would want to be at the peak of my physical fitness. Do you know what I mean? I'm gonna go 48 hours straight playing a game. Okay, I want to build up to it. So I'd be testing myself. I'd be doing 8-hour shifts. I'd be doing 16 hours. I'd be building my way up to it, at the same time making sure I wasn't drinking, wasn't smoking, getting into my physical, my physical best. Do you know what I mean? But Pig, you sorry, but you're just going to go for this with no training, with no preparation. That's very dangerous, my friend, in my opinion.
I disagree.
48 hours is a long time.
For a start, it's for charity, mate. It's for charity. So
it doesn't matter who it's
the whole
for
point
if
is
you die, mate. That's it.
Well, then I'd have died for a good reason, won't I?
If you're willing to just give your life away in that respect.
Come on, I don't think I'm going to die if I game for 48 hours, mate.
You'd be surprised. I don't know, mate. I don't know. But 48 hours is a hell of a long time. Okay, so what, you're going to eat whilst you're on, drink whilst you're on, shit whilst you're on, etc.
Well, I'm not wearing a nappy. I'm going to have to go to the toilet, so I have to look at the... I'm not even going to do the world record attempt if you have to stay on there the whole time and not go off screen for even a second.
Do you not have to stay on the whole time?
I'd imagine in that incident, you would be allowed to have a 2 to 5 minute comfort break here and there.
Well, look it up.
I mean,
then.
come on.
Well, we shouldn't even be talking about this until you know the ins and outs, the A to Z.
No, I haven't even looked into it. It's sheer speculation. It's at planning mode right now, Henry. I'm not going to pretend. By the way, I can't find the article that I saw yesterday, but I have found this one, which is 2019. If somebody wants to find the article, just search meet the man who broke Guinness World Record for the longest marathon on FIFA. It's a Sport Bible article, right? Just look at the guy. Okay, the pig is in way better shape than this guy. There he is with his placard, with the Guinness World Records. I mean, this guy, come on, no offence to this guy, he looks like a nice guy, but come on. You're trying to sell me this guy is better shape than a pig. Look at the article, lads and lasses. This guy, he definitely outweighs even the pig, this guy. Anyway, it says, there's this guy, his name's Christopher Cook, this is before, it's been broken since then, right? But the man who spent a grueling amount of time on FIFA to get himself into the record books while raising money for a great cause. He says he lost the feeling in his hands towards the end of this exhausting session, winning just one game in a 17-hour spell. What? He's even shitter than me. What? Yeah, but he somehow managed to complete the challenge.
He did it on purpose because if you were going to do that challenge, you just sort of almost have to forget about trying to compete. Basically, your best bet is just to hold the controller in your hands and not move your fingers. So I mean, who's actually monitoring? Like, is there a minimal amount of how much you actually need to try or play? Because anyone could do 48 hours with a fucking controller in their hand, not even playing. Do you know what I mean, dickhead?
Yeah, but people can see you're not playing.
One game in 17 hours. Fuck off.
It says these two lads previously held the accolade for a number of years, managing an impressive 48 hours and 5 minutes of playing time. But they were no match for this Arsenal supporter who eventually recorded a time of 48 hours, 49 minutes and 41 seconds. So 49 hours would be the minimum that I'd have to go for, really. So yeah, I mean, it is for charity.
It's just a bit stupid, though, isn't it? I don't like this sort of thing. It's just kind of just humanly unnatural. Okay, it's for charity. I get that, but it's just I don't know. It doesn't sit right with me. I don't like it. I don't like this sort of shit. It's disgusting.
Fair enough. Well, it was just an idea. I mean, it's not 100% yet, but I was thinking about doing it. Yeah. So, fair enough. Maybe not a good idea then. But Glenn, hey Glenn, thank you very much for the super chat here, Glenn. He comments and says, what does he say here? He says, bought a bottle of Hennessy and FM20 to fill my days. Not a bad shout, that, man. Get on the old Football Manager. Great shout. And honestly, yeah, get on the old Hennessy too.
Should I get the phone charger, or are we shutting up shop here? Because
we'll shut up shop. I
can go any second.
Listen, lads and lasses, he's saying it's dangerous. Matty Rush says it's dangerous. I understand that. JP says, Hen had a 48-hour ladyboy lap dance. The Saint says, I did 3 days no sleep and had hallucinations. Yet, one of the longest times I stayed up, actually, I was sat on a bus, and this was after some horrendous party and everything. Was just up, maybe 35 hours or something in that region. Not 48 hours, but I started to have hallucinations on this bus, so I can completely understand what you're saying. But it's got to be... I've always wanted in my entire life to get in the Guinness Book of World Records, and they refused my previous submission as well.
If that's your
dream,
it's
a dream of mine.
Who's there to deny you?
They refused my previous submission as well.
Dream. Right? It's not like you're going to aspire to much more. So do you know what I mean?
I actually applied to complete a Guinness World Record once before. Guess what it was for?
I don't know, most wanks in a day?
Well, it's not quite as bad as that, but it's almost as bad. The furthest urination. Because I don't know if, Henry, I don't know if you remember, pal, but for some reason I've got some sort of ungodly stream.
Like Olympic distant piss.
That's what I'm talking about. So, in all honesty, I applied for that once, and they said, nah, sorry, we can't do that. This is when I was a teenager. It's almost for a joke. It's almost for a joke. But in all honesty,
it's sort of stupid though. I think that is a worthy one though, isn't it?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Of course it is.
You all like to be at a piss fart. Do you know what I mean? We've all had that situation where you go into your public toilet and you're thinking, I'm not getting anywhere near that urinal. It's fucking disgusting. I'm going to stand right back here. I could get it in.
Precisely. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I can pretty much stand at the entrance of the fucking whole toilet and I'll get it in. I'm not getting anywhere near that fucking urinal.
Oh, you bloody legend. Right, okay, I think we're going to leave it here, but I've been really enjoyed the show today, mate. You know, it's a bit of light in this otherwise miserable time. So like I said to the bacon and egg brigade out there, you know, stay safe, take all the precautions, don't do what you don't have to do, and do join us on the channel for upcoming shows and stuff. Get behind the Flying Pig United channel and the Pig and the Hen show. Whenever you see it, please do get in here and keep tuning in and keep watching on this channel. Just because the football's not happening, just because Man United aren't playing for a while, doesn't mean that this channel is stopping dead. So, you know, please do... unless something happens to me, of course, which hopefully it won't. I've got a bit of a horrible cough at the moment.
Don't be silly,
so.
Pig. Well, come on, don't be dramatic about it.
No, I know, I'm being
dramatic.
dramatic.
Pig doesn't go out. He lives on that sofa, and he's basically going to be fine, guys. We're all good, okay?
Well, that's the thing. Tuned. I mean, if you go down to Asda, and I'm like the other day I went to Asda and I'm going shopping, and I'm using the self-service, and then it just dawned on me, like, how many people have touched this today? You know, and like, I haven't got any hand sanitizer on me. I've got to wait all the way till I get home to wash my hands. I mean, that's fucking awful, isn't it? Like, you've got to think about these things now, people. You do.
Oh, yeah. No, you should have your little bottle of fucking hand sanitizer or whatever, or your Dettol, or your, you know, like just on you. So you can just literally sort your hands out at any stage. I mean, this advice of just not wearing masks, it's almost like saying that, you know, China is silly for wearing masks. It's almost like saying that. It's almost like your whole nation of like over 1 billion people are stupid for wearing masks because there's no need. I don't buy that.
No, I think it's ridiculous. Yeah, I haven't seen a single person.
Help somehow, and nobody's wearing them over there. You know, if you got a mask, wear it. If you could buy masks, wear them. What's the worst that's going to happen? If it doesn't help you, well, at least you tried. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, why
doesn't make any sense to me.
People just like to think they're too cool in this country. They don't want to look like a tit wearing a mask. They'd rather get the bloody disease. It's ridiculous. I'm not even joking. Some people are like that. That's why we haven't seen anybody with it. I mean, I guess maybe it's a cultural thing as well. Like, you even before the coronavirus, you actually did used to see a lot of Chinese tourists in London wearing face masks because of the pollution.
Well, that's just for pollution and stuff.
Yeah,
absolutely.
I know. I know it's from the pollution, but the point I'm saying is culturally, it's already a thing in China. You know, in Beijing and these highly polluted cities, it's common for people to wear masks. Whereas over here, it isn't to the same level. So to ask everyone just to do it, I mean, they should do. I don't even know if we've got the provisions to even supply most people in this country with a face mask right now. I mean, how many is there?
But do you need any masks, mate?
I do. I don't have one, but I mean, I'm going to try and source one, yeah.
Well, I can send you some masks out, you know?
Well, I mean, you know, if worst comes to worst, that might be a good idea. But you know, I wouldn't want you to spend. It's probably quite expensive for you to do that just for a little face mask. So I'll try and get some over here. And I did see one awesome one that was being advertised. This is the thing, like people popping up. I talked about it with you previously, and taking advantage of these situations. There's already a company that I saw UK based that are selling this carbon filter face mask now. That's just popped up as a new company. So some people are already on the case, like capitalizing on this. So you know you can get them. But
well, there we go. I've got a selection. I've got surgical masks. I've got N95s. I've got like viral flu masks. You know, I've stocked up. You know, I've got like a full range. I should take a picture for you at some point. Arsenal. You know, but I don't.
Yeah.
I've got a full arsenal. Yeah, you know, no pun intended. But you know, I haven't bought to sell. It's not like I'm trying to, you know, take advantage of a situation or something. I've just got them for me and my family, you know. But I'd advise anyone out there, if you can get your hands on masks, even if it seems like a shitty mask. Well, I don't know. As far as I'm concerned, if someone sneezes or coughs near you and they're infected, you know, anything that can stop that shit going in your eyes or in your towards your nose or your mouth, you know, is better than nothing, isn't it? And on top of that, obviously, wash your hands. It's not much else you can do, guys and girls, apart from stay away from other people and take the precautions.
Yeah, fully agree. Okay then, lads and lasses, that's going to be it from us today. I'll be back on later on tonight with a cheeky little FIFA stream for you. Not sure of the time yet, but keep a lookout on the channel. Thanks to everybody that got in there last night. It was a very fun stream. We got absolutely ruined. It was terrible. But thank you very much to everybody that got in there. I want to give a special shout out to Matty Rush, absolute bloody legend, Acronator, Stefan Antonio, Viking Red, Morgan Freeperson, Batman Night Fan, Illy United, JP, The Saint, Sim, who else is in here at the end? Morgan Freeperson, Cameron Levels, everybody, Viking Red. Thank you so much to you all for tuning in today for today's bonus Corona Pig of the Hen show here. It's not really a bonus though, but the Premier League, anyway, just to clarify, just to conclude, the Premier League has been suspended now until the 3rd of April. At the very least, they'll reassess the situation close to the time. I'm sure there's going to be an emergency meeting held next week. They'll talk about the options. They'll have a look at the situation globally, nationally, at the time, certainly within the EU as well, to do with the domestic leagues and traveling and all this stuff. And the players, like I say, if half of the team's players get knocked down with coronavirus right now, then the Premier League's not going to be continuing for a very long time. We'll see what happens. We'll play it by ear once there's any news. Hot Shot, thank you so much, mate. Top man, bloody Alex Norman there, legend. Once there's any news, Ren Chan, same to you, Ren. Thank you very much for getting here. ReRGV, nice one, says, yeah, FIFA stream, see you later. Thanks so much. And everybody else, bunch of legends. But yeah, what was I saying? I just got distracted there, Hen.
I don't know. I mean, nobody cares. I had something to say. I mean, fair play to all you legends for tuning in. I think most of the people that listen to the Pig and the Hen, I mean, I'm not saying that we are intellectuals, Pig, but I think we have a certain level of intellect, so that most people that listen to our show need to be of a certain standing, And all of you legends out there, you're survivors. You listen to me, you listen to the Pig. Don't mess around. Take the right precautions. Don't need to panic. Don't need to listen to the hysteria. At the same time, don't listen to the bullshit out there. You know what I'm talking about. Stay safe. We're all going to get through this. Stay tuned. Make sure that we stick together as a community, because that's the most important thing.
And I've got nothing else to add there, really. Great way to end it. Thanks to you all for tuning in. Please do us a favour before you go and leave a thumbs up rating on this video. Let's see if we can get to, I don't know what we're on, but 100 likes. That would be amazing. ReRGV, thank you so much. He says smash a like. Please do that. Subscribe if you're new for more upcoming content. Shout out to a couple of people that I haven't mentioned also at the end here who are getting in. Peter Lyon. Stay safe, guys. Love you. Right back at you, Peter. Thank you so much, mate. Yeah, everybody just take the necessary precautions right now. The Football Channel HD says goodbye. Great stream. Thanks so much to the Football Channel HD. And I think I've just about shouted everybody else out at the end here. But either way, you're a bunch of bloody legends. Thank you to the Bacon and Egg Brigade for getting involved here. Enjoy the rest of your day. Don't let this ruin your lives, but obviously treat it with the seriousness that it does deserve. That's it from us then. This is the Pig. I've been the Pig. Oh, I think Henry's battery just bottle jobbed it at the end there, lads and lasses, but we were wrapping it up anyway. I was just going to say, thank you very much for getting in here today, all of you. Great to have all you legends in here. JP, Matty Rush, Sim, Viking Red, The Saint, Stefan Antonio, everybody else I've mentioned as well. Hottie Shot, Illy United, the Football Channel HD, Peter Lyon, bloody legend, all of you, thanks for getting in here. Much appreciated you tuning in. Mikey, thank you so much, one of the channel members. He says, cheers, Pig. Cheers to you too. Shout out to all these Patreon legends. We've got to add a few more. Sorry it's not been added just yet, but it will be for the next vid. Or probably not the FIFA one today, but tomorrow. We've got some new legends to add, like Eddie Rouse and Morgan Freeperson and a bunch of other ones. So thank you to all of you guys. Don't be discouraged. You'll definitely be added to this list. Thank you so much for all the support lately. Take care of yourselves, honestly. Viking Red says, Pig, FIFA tonight. Absolutely, it's Friday, FIFA night tonight, so keep a lookout, keep your eyes peeled, there will be something coming. But stay classy and stay safe, people, and much love from the Pig and the Hen, and we'll see you very, very soon. All the best, lads and lasses. Come on, United.